Good morning, Keller Williams Realty Partners. Happy Tuesday. How is everybody? Good? 2 thumbs up. I love that. Okay, good. Well, we are here today to talk all about Keller Williams Luxury. We're going to have a little bit of a recap from the lovely event at the Guild yesterday. We're going to have some ahas, some takeaways, and we're going to hear from some agents about how they are putting that to use in their businesses every day at a variety of levels. So we're going to hear from some who are not yet luxury qualified. We're going to hear from some who have been luxury qualified since the beginning and just different ways they're incorporating Keller Williams luxury brand into their businesses. Breakfast over here is provided by Dina Farrar, our vendor of the week this week. She is with Spotless Cleaning. Cream cheese is on the way, so if you want to hold off for a quick second, bagels they just don't hit the same without cream cheese. So that'll be on the way, but that is provided by our vendor of the week, Dina Farrar. Kyle, do we have a special guest yet? Okay, let's jump right to that. And then I'll go back and fill in a few announcements before we bring up our agents. Yeah?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, Jordan Freed's going to be talking all about My Freed Life, which is October 27th. Hey, Jordan, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can't hear you yet. All the joys of Zoom. Okay, Jordan, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Welcome to Olathe, Overland Park.
Thanks.
That's right.
Yeah, it actually feels like coming home. I don't know if everybody knows this, but 2006 Overland Park Market Center is where I started.
I love that. All right. Well, they've been quickly primed that you are coming back here on October 27th. You want to tell them a little bit about that one-day seminar?
I do. So many of you probably know me. For those of you who don't, my name is Jordan Freed. I'm a MAPS executive coach, and I have the good fortune now of coaching some of the biggest and brightest minds in all of real estate and all of Keller Williams. And for the last 7 years, I've been coaching. I've done about 12,000 one-on-one coaching calls. And during that time, I've kind of noticed a trend, and that is that there are people within this industry, particularly inside of Keller Williams, that they've mastered this science of achievement, right? Like they understand, I do this, I make this many calls, I get this many listings, and ultimately I end up with this much money. So they've nailed that side of it, but they haven't nailed what I call the art of fulfillment. And I kind of ripped that off from Tony Robbins. But what I wanted to do here with you all today is not just provide you with a sales pitch, but give you some value, some tools, some things that you can use. Because I was a team leader for 3 years. I always had the belief that everyone who comes to a team meeting should walk out with at least one idea that could help their businesses or their lives grow. And so if you don't mind, Amy, I would like to start with just asking everybody a simple question. And if you don't have a pen or paper or something to write or type on, I would encourage you to grab that. But this is one of my all-time favorite coaching questions, okay? So here's the question. On a scale from 0 to 10, how well are you leading yourself? Now, a 0 is I am failing miserably, 10 being I'm knocking it out of the park. Right. And what I'm looking for right now isn't necessarily in the context of your business. I want the overall score. But from 0 to 10, how well are you leading yourself? And here's what leading yourself ultimately all boils down to. It boils down to one thing. It's how well am I making the decisions that align with my ultimate vision? Because decisions and choices are what ultimately make or create success or make or create failure. And when you think about leading yourself well and mastering the art of making the right decisions, what that really boils down to is, could I follow you around all day and you didn't know that I was there? I'm a fly on the wall. And when I see a walking, talking, living, breathing model of success in each area of your life, would I see somebody that's more like do as I say, not as I do? But I'm curious, what would you put down? And I'm not going to ask you to share your number, but what would you put down as the answer to that question of 0 to 10? How well am I leading myself? Leading myself being, how well am I making the decisions that align with my vision? Now, if you didn't put a 10, here's the question I have for you. What's preventing you from all out crushing it? What's getting in your way? And what I've noticed in all those 12,000 coaching calls, that ultimately it boils down, if you saw me speak at Mega Camp, I mentioned this to Gary, it all boils down to the 2 M's. It's mechanics and mindset. Mechanics is knowing what to do and how to do it. Mindset is doing what you know and doing it consistently. And if you were a betting person, which one of the two do you think most people struggle with? Mechanics, knowing what to do and how to do it, or mindset, just taking what they know and doing it consistently? And you know the answer is mindset, right? And when you look at what the ingredients of a mindset are, it starts with your feelings, which are created by your thoughts, which at the core of that are ultimately your beliefs. And see, I'm not so much interested in getting you together for a day and sharing a whole bunch of new information with you. I'm more interested in what is keeping you from developing the beliefs that will ultimately allow you to create your life by design. I'm more interested in what's preventing you, because what I have come to know is that most people understand the mechanics of winning. And what they don't understand is how to actually lose. And you might be going, well, what does that mean? And this is what I want you to understand. You're only limited by one question. You're only limited by one question. What am I unwilling to feel in the pursuit of my vision? And see, I want to get you in a room for 24 hours sounds great, but really it'd only be 8. But I want to get you in a room and start a different conversation inside of you, rather than just pumping you full more information. I want to figure out, how can we help you unravel? I don't believe people are broken. I think that they get tangled. How can we untangle you so that you can set yourself free in the pursuit of your best life? Now, here's the thing that I want you to get. One of my favorite people of all time was a guy named Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he had a quote, and he said, "You become what you think about all day long." And I have a belief, and the belief is that we're all just sort of like 3D printing whatever is happening in our minds all day long. So if you think about how a 3D printer works, right? You get an idea, you take something, you put it into the program, you design it in the computer, and then the computer connects to the printer and it prints it. And see, your external world, your external life is simply a 3D printed version of what's happening in the inner world. And if you're good, if you're at a 10, then great. But if you're not, I want to know how we can help you get really clear about what you intend to print. What would the external life look like that would make you come alive? How can we get you into alignment on that? Because you're already 3D printing your life. The question is, are you 3D printing what it is that you ultimately want? And I know we all get busy and we get sucked into things and we don't always make the time. But what my free life is all about is taking a day to ask and answer life's big questions, and then walk away with an action plan on how you can create your freed life. And I know that that's a tall order. I know that, it's a grand gesture, I guess you could say. But the things that I've come to know is that the breadcrumbs of self-mastery, write this down, the breadcrumbs of self-mastery are stories, triggers, and limits. And I want to figure out, what are the stories you tell yourself that hold you back? What are the things that trigger you? And where are the limits that you place on yourself? And at its core, like I mentioned before, this is all about the beliefs that sit inside of you. And ultimately, I want to help you create a new conversation within you so that you, again, can live your freed life. And what that really boils down to is this. This is what I have found, because we've been in this goal setting version now, or goal setting mode, for some time. My clients, we start that process in August. But goal setting should be in the pursuit. Listen to what I'm about to say. Goal setting should be in the pursuit of what makes you come most alive. And if you're going to win in the fulfillment game, what makes you come most alive will stand out in 4 areas. This is what it's all about. It's learning as much as you can. It's growing as much as you can. It's loving as much as you can. And it's giving as much as you can. That's what it's all about. And whatever's preventing you from learning, growing, loving, and giving is what I want to invite you to come spend a day with me, and we will figure that out and help you leave with an action plan to set yourself on fire to make your freed life. So I hope that you will join me. Seating is limited to only 40 people. If you come and we're halfway through the day and you go, this is just total bogus BS, like this isn't helpful at all, I will refund your money. You can even keep the material. But I would invite all of you to join me October 27th, 9 to 4 there in your market center. And I promise you, you will walk away with a new conversation within you.
Awesome. Thank you so much today for sharing, Jordan. You will see on the computer screens all around this office a beautiful slide with all of the class details and a QR code where you can register for Jordan's class. Again, October 27th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., a one-day intensive seminar all about your freed life. Awesome. Hey, anybody in here know Jordan? Yeah, I see lots of hands up. I don't know if you can see the room. I don't think we've got cameras going that way. We had lots of hands go up.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to know, Jordan, before October 27th?
No, I think I said it all, and I hope to see you all there. And thank you, Amy, for allowing me to pop in today. And I can't wait to come back and give back to a place that helped me so much. And I look forward to seeing you all there.
You bet. Thank you, Jordan. Have a good rest of your morning.
You too. Bye-bye.
See ya. Guys, there are also flyers, physical flyers. So if you need to take one, there's also a link that you can type in if your QR code's not working to get you registered. I'm going to wait for slides to come back. Oh, you know what? Super quick. Let's have story time with Amy. Once upon a time, I went to college, and I grew up going to a super small church in Spring Hill, Kansas. So really small church my whole life. And then I moved away to college and thought it would be way more fun to go to a huge church. But I felt like I didn't know anybody. I went to church a few times. I just didn't really feel connected or plugged in. I just didn't really feel like I could get to know anyone. And did a little self-reflection and was like, you know what? What's the easiest way I can go feel connected to this huge place where I'm used to everybody knowing my name and everything about me to this mega church. And I decided that I would be a greeter at the front door and shake everyone's hand. And then I would have no excuse for people not to know me and for me not to start to see some familiar faces and build some relationships, right? Get as many people through the door as I can and see their faces, let them see me. So I invite you all today. I'm going to go back one. Sorry, Kyle. I'm going in reverse. I would invite you today to show up for ALC committees today at 10:15. If you see something on this list that lights you up, this is the way that you can lead, that you can plug in, that you can connect, that you can serve. We've got everything from education and career development to luxury, which we're going to be talking about more today, growth with Doug Bose. I saw he was posting on Facebook about that, technology with Mike Russell, the commercial sector with Paul. KW Holdings has a meeting tomorrow as well. But if any of these things light you up, go find your people and jump in a committee, lead, connect, serve, plug in at 10:15 today. Again, Jordan's slide, you'll see that little guy all over the place on computers. The flyer version is just a longer thing, but it looks like that. Tomorrow, we've got 12 weeks of listings with James Shaw continuing. That is on KW Connect Live. Tomorrow is week 2, so it is not too late to jump in to that training with James Shaw. I believe he's going to post it on his Facebook group as well, but it's on KW Connect Live. Not sure if replays are available, so make time tomorrow at noon. And then at 2 o'clock, we have our investment group. Christine Dunn is going to be sharing about some of her doors and rentals. Clarissa Skinner is going to be sharing about the deeper pockets, bigger pockets seminar she just went to for 3 days. And we've got a bunch of other people coming up to talk about real estate investments and how it's making an impact in their business. That's at 2 o'clock. And then there's usually happy hour after. We'll walk over to coaches to just mastermind. Who's been to investment group? Oh, not as many hands as I thought, you guys. It's worth your time. It's really fun. How about Mega Agent Monday? Has anyone been to Mega Agent Monday yet? Did anyone go yesterday for Aaron Donner? It was awesome. Next Monday, we have Tammy Bernhardt talking about everyday practices. Her title for her class is It's All in the Details. So I think we're going to learn some really practical habits and difference makers to elevate your client's experience. Okay, deep breath, you guys. Our October calendar is full. It is that goal setting time of year. So please make time to do your personal internal work with Jordan, and also make time to start your deep dive in your business. We've got a free business planning clinic on October 20th and 21st from noon to 4. So you can do your business in the morning, lead gen, etc. And then from noon to 4, the second half of your day on the 20th and 21st, come here to the training room, or you can watch on Keller Williams Connect Live. Again, between those 2 days, it's 8 hours of focused business planning where you get to reverse engineer your goals for 2022. Who's done business planning? You guys. I think our energy is dying. Who's done business planning before? Yes. Hands up. Big hands up. I love it. Hey, Kyle, can we save Tech Minute to the end since we're taking Jordan was a little longer than I expected and we got a late start? Thank you. Let's jump next to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Randy Vanderpool. Welcome your broker. I know it was because Kyle's flexible. He lets us act crazy, mix things up on him. It's his favorite.
Hey, first of all, how many people were at the luxury event? Just by a show of hands. It was fabulous. And I just want to thank Kalina and Amy for putting that together. That was really an amazing event. And I really enjoyed a lot of that. You know, Brady really believes in client service, and he has a strong background in that. And the one question that someone asked, well, how do I raise my price point? And he said, it's all in relationship to the level of service that you provide. You know, the other thing that was very impactful, and we're going to be talking a little bit about market stats here, is he said, hey, when you're running your comparative market analysis, you can't be looking at 6 months ago. It's an entirely different marketplace. You need to be looking in the last 21 days. And, you know, he has a video that he puts out there for his clients out there. And he talks about 4 data points that he tracks. And they are, how many properties have actually closed? How long did it take those properties to sell? What was the average sales price? And how much inventory is left? All the statistics really that I provide to you each month. But hearing him talk about the 21 days most recently, that's really what we need to be looking at. Because I got to tell you, I'm signing a lot of price reductions. We have a lot of listings that are over 30 days. Okay. And in today's marketplace, that's ancient, and it's really impacting our clients. And obviously you, when you're not getting that property sold, you can't help them buy the next property. And, you know, two of the other things he talked about were that buyers just aren't agreeing to pay that price anymore. And I actually pulled up Johnson County 2,100 listings just for the month of September. And the original median list price, median is kind of better than average, right? Was $365,000. And yet the closed price median was $355,500. So again, the market is just saying no, and it's not us. And that's another thing that he talked about in there is we need to use the language. It's not us. I always used to like to say it's you and I against the marketplace. But again, it's the buyers who are making that decision, and you have to help your sellers navigate that. So, I talk about pricing it right. And of course, these tools are in our Facebook file. You've got the housing pond. And again, this is the perfect illustration to show your clients that, again, properties that are coming on the market, they're priced right, they look good, they are flowing right back off, and they're sold within 30 days. If you're getting showings but no offers, you're overpriced between 4 and 6%. If you're not getting showings, okay, you are priced between 6 and 12% too high. It's just the reality of it. It's kind of like, AA has a 12-step program. Okay. So this is like Listings Anonymous here. Hi, my name's Randy. It's been 38 days since I took an overpriced listing. I know that step 2 in the process is I know that the market statistics don't lie, and I promise to review them with my clients. And then step 3 is I admit that I overpriced this listing and will communicate the market reality to my clients, because I know that waiting will only decrease their chance of selling. Okay. So there's the first 3 steps. I didn't come up with more, but you get the point. We've got to communicate with our clients. And that's the most dreaded call we make, right? The one where we're on the market, we didn't have any showings. You look at the phone, you start to reach for it, you pull back, because it's so uncomfortable. What am I going to say to the client? Well, guess what? What you have to say is, this is the market reality. So real quickly, again, we'll put this out there, but you need to really look at that absorption rate. You need to take a look at the neighborhood, even drill down and find out. And again, this used to talk about 12 months, 6 months, 3 months. Again, according to what Brady talked about, you got to be looking the last 21 days. The other part is really looking at that market flow. And I'll put all this online so you don't have to take photos or anything else, but I've done this class before. So again, if you're interested in how to do a lot of these things, come to the market statistics class, because I'll teach you how to do this. It's really not rocket science, because I couldn't figure it out if it was. All right. I was not good in math at school, but here's the deal. We have to help our clients. And I've always I cared very deeply about clients. And so in order to do that, you've got to know about the product, right? You've got to know how are things operating in the market. And you have those stats every single month. And again, even Zillow, okay, we love to bash Zillow, but they have these slides actually online. But again, they'll be here for you. And it shows that the longer you're on the market, the less you're going to get for your property. It's just a reality. And so they have 2 slides. And again, I love showing these to people. Show them, look, this is what Zillow says. But you told me not to search on Zillow. Yes, but so again, cover this, because again, they're going over 30 days. They've reduced their chance of selling in Johnson County just 14.3%. Okay. And the new stats are out. And again, kind of that 60-30-10, 60% of the clients out there are looking for an absolutely move-in ready property, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. That's the people that are going on the market. They're pricing it right. They're getting multiple offers still, because it's still a seller's market, but it's not the stupid seller's market anymore. Okay. 30% of the people are willing to buy the property and either hire a contractor to do that work or put in the sweat equity themselves, but they expect the discount for that. And then 10% of the people out there are investors, and there's no emotional attachment to that property. It's just dollars and cents. So when you go in, ask your clients, what segment of buyers do you want to appeal to? So thus ends my sermon for today. Go in peace. And
yes, thank you. Leave this with me.
Leave what?
The clicker. Thank you.
Did you say when the next marketing class is?
No, I didn't.
I'll tell you when it is.
All right.
It's tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
So tomorrow is a very full afternoon. Again, we've got market stats at 1, investment group immediately following. And then no beverage with a broker this week. Instead of being below sea level, you're going to be above sea level. Yes, Randy will be in the mountains. So no beverage with a broker this week. I am pleased to introduce to you for the last 30 minutes of our team meeting, your assistant team leader, Ms. Ginevra Collins. Woo! Yeah, you bet.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, I am so thrilled to be here with you guys today. I wanted to just share with you for a second. I had the privilege of inviting so many of you to our luxury event last week, and I noticed a theme happening. And part of it was our mindset. It's how we believe and how we show up about luxury. And so many people over and over said, Ginevra, I'm not luxury. That's not me. That's not who I am. And I wanted to talk a little bit today, and I wanted to bring up some of our agents that we have here with us to share about what they're doing, what they're facing in their business, and kind of how they're overcoming some of these thoughts and challenges. So give it up for Aaron and Carolyn, who are joining me today. If you guys have not gotten the chance to know or meet Aaron and Carolyn, do yourself a solid, because these two are so fun. You guys want to turn these on? Or they should be on already.
They're on.
Don't hit buttons. Don't hit buttons, please.
Hold it up here. I do.
Don't hit buttons.
How
right?
about now? Oh, there we go.
Well, tell me a little bit. You guys both had the opportunity to go to the luxury event, and I wanted to hear some of your ahas. Tell our family what, I'll start with you, Aaron. What were some of your biggest ahas from the Brady event?
I will admit I was one of those people who said, "Hey, I'm not luxury." My highest price point so far is like 410,000. I'm new. Like, how could I even like associate myself with it? But I went anyway, because keep associating yourself with the people who already do it, because you are who you surround yourself with, right? So a lot of my aha moments were the big one probably was brand alignment. Really liked the idea that like the gift giving that he would do throughout the whole process, like not waiting till the end to finally give them a closing gift, but gifting them throughout the process, thanking them for their service to you and stuff. He mentioned the turquoise box that people get from like
Tiffany's.
Oh, people think of Tiffany's. Yeah. So I was like, oh yes. With a beautiful candle in it, like with the Ritz branding on it and all of that. I was like, okay, I like that. I like that idea a lot. Also, my other big takeaway probably was just how he composed himself through the whole presentation, the whole time. He could be wearing like t-shirt, shorts, flip-flops. I would still believe 100% of everything he said, just because he held himself high. He commanded the room. He had the confidence. So those were a couple of my aha moments.
I know.
From that
I
event.
love watching Brady just walk around. I could have watched him walk, and how he carried his hands, his gestures. I love it. It was one of my favorite things too, watching Brady just interact with the room.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, anything that you're going to implement, in the next 30 days that you learned specifically from the event?
Definitely what I'm going to implement is, like I said, I like to associate with, people that I want to aspire to, right? So definitely I want to go to more brokers opens at those bigger houses, because I've never really set foot in a multi-million-dollar house before. So like, why? And just further education, just because I'm not there yet, or maybe I don't know enough people yet to have those kind of opportunities, but educating myself continuously, seeing what's courses online, seeing what other agents are doing to, keep and maintain these clients, right? So just moving forward to, keep my mindset from not if it happens to me, but when it happens, I'll be ready. I'll be ready to go. So
Thank you, Aaron. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. And Aaron is killing it, by the way. If you haven't heard his story, I encourage you, take him out, buy him a cup of coffee, and get to know Aaron, because he's fantastic.
Oh, for sure. Or happy hour.
Yes. Oh, well, Carolyn, I wanted to come to you. Congratulations again. Miss Carolyn just earned her luxury designation. So, yes, give it up for Carolyn. Congratulations. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, what were some of your biggest takeaways from Brady?
Okay, so I brought cheater notes because I'm older. I didn't want to forget what I wanted to say. one of the things that I love that he said was anticipate the needs and deliver before they ask. That seemed so simple, but something that for me doesn't come naturally. I don't always think that way. And then they ask, and I'm like, I should have done that, or I should have thought of that. So that was really huge for me. I love that he said surprise and delight and make every moment a defining moment. That was cool to me too. I just thought, wow, everything you do can be done in such a way, or even just presented, or even the way you speak can make that a defining thing. So I thought that was really cool. And then the biggest one for me was more listening and less talking, because I have a tendency to get nervous and just word puke. Like he said, I will do that in a situation where I feel like I'm out of my element. I'll, so
Yeah, the word vomit all
that
over.
was
Yes.
huge for me. So yeah, those were probably my biggest takeaways.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. Hey, anything in the last few transactions that you've had now that you've earned your official luxury designation? Tell me about that experience that you're finding. These are the clients here, and here's kind of the last couple transactions I've had. Good, bad, ugly. Tell us the
They've
real.
been good. They've been good. Actually, one of the things I was thinking about this last night. Thank you for the heads up, so I could be thinking about what I want to say. Because I don't want to bust out my clients either, because a couple of them have been really quirky. But the cool thing is they're just people. And at the end of the day, they just want to be treated the way I want to be treated. And even though they might be a little quirky, they're fun. And the other thing I've noticed is they refer. If they like you, I mean, it takes a while to get referrals. We have found over the last few years, but with these guys, they're like diehard. I mean, if they like you, you're their person. You're my guy, Mike. You're my guy. You're my go-to. And we've had, one particular couple that we've worked with buy and sell, and then they've already referred friends from out of town who bought sight unseen with us. I mean, and I'm talking like $750,000 house, not like a $200,000 investment property. It's just cool because they have a loyalty factor. That's what I'm noticing. So it's been kind of neat.
I love that. Well, give it up for these guys. Thank you again for sharing and taking some time with me. Wanted to bring to the stage Miss Kelly Becks and Mikey Molina, please. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming up here. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of examples I heard over and over after the event. Hey, Ginevra, how would we show this property? How would we list this property? And I wanted to bring up these guys and have them share with you a little bit about what they find in buyers when they're showing and helping buyers, and when they're helping sellers. So Kelly, I wanted to start with you. She's going to help us with all things buyers today, if that's okay with you guys. Tell us first, Kelly, number one, what were some of your ahas from the event?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with that.
Okay. One thing that he said that I really liked that I hadn't heard before, and I wrote it down because it was so good, is the level of service you offer will determine the price you serve. And that really stuck out to me. I was like, wow, I'm like, I really need to reevaluate my service plan. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And, I hear a lot when we're showing and we're helping out buyer clients. Tell me about that process. Kelly, you're getting ready to do maybe a buyer's consult. Mm-hmm. Is that any different for you in the higher price points?
It can be, because a lot of times, I do a buyer consult no matter what. It might just look different. So I might go to their house to do, if they live in town, do a buyer consult. It just depends. So again, they're just people. You figure out what works best for them, like I do any client. Sometimes it's Starbucks. Sometimes it might be J. Alexander's. It might be Sullivan's. I don't know. It just depends what their expectation is, and I'll do whatever they want to do. So I always let them pick what they would like. I don't tell them what we're going to do, but I do want them to sit down.
We go? Or,
yeah.
Okay,
because
awesome.
You just never know. And a lot of times I'm dealing with the wife and not the husband. So I really want to get them both together is really important, because I need them on the same page. I need to figure out who the decision maker is.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure that their needs align with what we're going to go look for, because a lot of times they're on two separate pages and all I'm doing is spinning in circles and I'm not getting anywhere. So I really try to get them both together.
Love that. So Kelly, you're about to go take somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
tell me about that process for you. What are you doing? What are you bringing? What's kind of your step-by-step right before you go show?
So when I do a buyer consultation, I always, no matter what, I bring a copy of the contract, I bring a folder, I have a buyer consultation. But with luxury, you have to think things are a little bit different. Jumbo loans. Like, the biggest thing I would say is you have to know how you need to know your stuff, right? And I always ask a lot of questions too. Am I dealing with new money? Am I dealing with old money? Like, there's a difference in those buyers. New money likes technology. Older money might like country clubs. So I need to know, it's really, I'm learning about them more than I'm giving them. I want to listen and ask questions so then I know how to serve them properly. Because it's, that's what they're looking for. Are they looking for private schools? Are they looking for public schools? It's different, but it's just about understanding what their needs are and doing your research ahead of time, because usually they know more than I do. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay ahead of them.
They're all connected in those same circles.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, so you walk in the door, Kelly. This is the first house. What are you pointing out? What are the features? What are the details that you want to make sure every single time you hit?
So a lot of times with luxury, your listing agent's there. So sometimes you have some wrangling to do with them. Depends who the agent is. But I always try to, I really try to set an expectation with that listing agent that let me do my job. It doesn't always work, unfortunately, but I try my best. But I do try to get as much information from them as possible so they feel like they're doing their job. Like, do you have a list of upgrades? And, I also need to know my stuff too. Like, I need to know what a thermidor is. I need to know what high-end appliances are. I need to know, like, there's different materials. It can be a totally, is that marble? Is it granite? I mean, just like any other house, but there's materials out there that sometimes I've never even heard of. And I sometimes preview houses too. Like,
That's
especially
good.
the bigger houses, they need to be previewed because I just don't I don't live like that, but that's what I'm selling. So I need to educate myself. Because I don't know sometimes.
Absolutely. Know your customer, know your client, know what their question, anticipate some of their questions, what they're going to be.
Absolutely.
Kelly, tell me a little bit about, we've kind of talked about fear and limiting beliefs. Tell me how that still hits you.
So I like to think that if I wasn't nervous, I would feel like I didn't care. Like, I love my job. And every time I go out with a client to show or meet a new client, I'm nervous. So nervous. This fake it till you are it. I made sure my car was clean. I made sure I dressed the part. I had my fancy diamonds on. Like, I worked it because that's who I was gearing towards. So, you just, fake it till you are it. You don't have to drive a fancy car, but make sure it's clean. Make sure you're dressed the part. It's sometimes a little acting. In all reality.
Thanks for sharing behind the curtain and, kind of exposing some of those, because I know so many of our agents, I heard that like, hey, I can't come. That's not me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that is you. You're Keller Williams Realty Partners. We show homes, we help clients find houses, and we can help anybody do that. So Mikey, tell us a little bit about the other side of the fence.
I was going to say something real quick.
Yeah,
what
please.
Kelly just said, and I don't know if this, first of all, Jordan Freed was my coach for 10 years. And if you have the opportunity to go, if you can make it, swing it, the money, absolutely make that happen and go, because he will really change your mindset and helped me, get to where I am today. So, and Kelly said something really interesting. Nervous, she would get nervous, but she also said that's excitement. I think it's Gary Keller that says, sometimes we can confuse nervousness with excitement, and don't call it nervous, call it excitement. So that was great what you said. So, do you want me to do my ahas?
Yeah, let's start with your ahas, Mikey. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, I loved what Brady talked about, the feeder market, the vertical market, and the down market. And he talked about that as a referral source. Yet also think about that when you're going to sell your listing. Where is that buyer probably going to come from? If they're coming from out of town, that's different. If they're usually going to come from a feeder neighborhood, right? And then if it's a upper bracket home, where's that seller going to go? They're typically going to go down. I know that if I have a luxury property on acreage out in Stillwell in Blue Valley Schools, 9 chance out of 10, I've sold that house to a buyer from Mills Farm. So we just direct market right to Mills Farm, and that's where that buyer usually comes from because it's a lateral move for them, yet it's something different. So those buyers don't usually have to buy. So for they want to buy. And if something sparks their interest, unless they're coming from out of town or they have a big family change, like maybe they have triplets coming or they just came into a lot of money or something like that. But typically they don't have to move. They're going to move because they want to, or this property sparks their interest. So sometimes it's maybe showing them 1 or 3 properties. But so that's why we hold our listings open, which is kind of a different concept. A lot of agents don't do this in the luxury market, but we sell a lot of our listings off of open houses, the luxury ones. So
Yeah, that was a huge. Mikey and I chatted a little bit yesterday, and that was a huge aha for me. I said, "Hey, Mikey, where do leads come from? How do you get into the luxury market?"
Yeah.
And that was what she said. It's really through open houses was
Mhm.
one of the biggest sources.
Well, yeah, and we have a big market share, so that changes things if we get calls that people know that we focus in the luxury market in that area, and it starts with one. And if you do a good job marketing that one, holding it open, communicating with your clients, sending, having exceptional customer service. That customer service is not a phrase that is used in real estate very often. So we're privy to that. We talk about that a lot at Keller Williams. So that
Tell
was
them how you do open houses, Mikey.
what-
Tell them what you do and don't do specifically around when your team holds something open.
Well, we definitely do not serve chocolate chip cookies or any food like that because let's just be real, parents are not watching their children. Okay. And the kids typically are there. They usually have, typically they have a few kids, more than 2, is what we run into. If they're not empty nesters, most of our buyers are empty nesters now. They're moving to an acre or 2 and $1.5 million home. So it's strange that that's happening, but it is. Usually when their oldest is a sophomore in high school, that's about when we see them starting to shift and wanting to sell their smaller house and move to something larger. It's weird, but yeah, we do not serve any kind of food or anything like that. So
Tell me, Mikey, you're getting ready to go on the listing appointment.
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening in your head? Tell me about how Mikey gets ready and how you kind of overcome some of those.
well, the first
thought-
thing is that consultation. I have talked to them, and Brady talked about this too. I've talked to them for a really long time, and I know what their disc style is. I one time was in a bold class, and I got a referral from an agent in Wichita for it was a $1.2 million home, and I called him right when I left, and I was dressed professionally, and I had all my stuff with me, and I know the market. So he was a very, very high D, and he had an appointment with one of the top 3 teams in our market. I think, let's see, that both was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. He had an appointment on Friday. He didn't hardly have any time available, and he talked very fast. He's a blue collar millionaire. He's working, he's out, doing floors and whatever he's doing. So I just said, you know what? He goes, I'm getting McDonald's for my kids right now. And I got to get home and do that. And I said, why don't I just come right now? And I was prepared for that because you prepare before your appointment, right? And I was dressed appropriately, and I just went there right then. And I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and cancel your appointment with this other ladies, and I'll call them. He doesn't have time to mess with that. We canceled it. We listed it right then and got it taken care of. So usually I'm not preparing much before because I'm already prepared because I did a consultation. I know who they are. I asked more questions than I spoke, and I know what their problems are and what they need, and I can just solve it pretty easily. So using
Yeah.
their words back on
That
them.
was one of my ahas from Brady was the 15-minute listing appointment.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into everything under the sun. We just need to
Yeah.
answer their questions.
I had a listing appointment yesterday that I think they're going to be signing the papers as they figure out their jobs. 1.7 million, and it took longer to tour the house than it did to talk about listing it and agreeing to work with me because we did all that consultation beforehand. So
So if you are doing a listing appointment, you
Mhm.
know, or it does go longer, what are the types of things you're bringing, you're showing? Obviously your market stats, anything specific or tangible your team does or leaves behind?
Well, we have a packet that we do, and a lot of times, if there's enough time, we'll send that out beforehand. But I'm going over it, and I know how serious they are when I show up, if they've already read through it, and I ask them if they've read through it, and I don't need to waste your time. And again, going back to that disc, if you don't know what the disc is, learn it. It's a Tony Robbins thing. You can obviously Jordan was my coach, so Tony Robbins was a big deal. But understanding what their personality is, how they're going to listen, and being able to speak to how they listen, if that makes sense. Not speaking to how is comfortable for you, adjusting to them. That's the number one thing. But we leave that I leave that packet with them with all the information and a seller's disclosure. And I try to get that filled out right then, the listing documents filled out right then.
Love that. You know, one of the themes I heard during the event was standards.
Mhm.
Brady talked about that he's loving, however, his standards were not. And I was curious.
That is one of my favorite things that he said.
Yeah.
I'm a very loving person. My standards aren't always so loving.
Yes.
So I was like, that made me think of Judy also. You have to have high standards, and they expect that from you. And I mean, it goes from your daily tracking your numbers, your lead generation, like how you show up every single day, down to what you do for your clients. And also, don't beat yourself up if it didn't go as great as you think it did, because that's a story you're telling yourself. It may not be their story. So Eric and I talk about that a lot. He's like, oh geez, I didn't do good enough for them. It wasn't the highest level of service. But do they think that? Are they okay? Like, okay, do better next time and fix forward. That's our favorite saying, is just fix forward. That's all you can do.
That fix forward,
Yeah.
really getting into the meat and potatoes of what is important and how your
Yeah.
team is showing up for those clients.
Well, and Kelly touched on this also, that you're not just selling a house to these luxury clients. I always joke around that, I'm not only a marriage counselor and a private detective, I'm also an armchair economist. And I can talk to them about, because I listen to Gary, I listen to Ruben Gonzalez. He's one of my favorite guys at KWRI. He's the head economist. And some people, that's super boring, but I'm a DC. I'm a weird combination. So I like spreadsheets for about 5 minutes and then move on. So that's what that means. And so understanding what's happening in the market. My favorite class in college was managerial economics, understanding what is happening. We hear a headline and then all the different levels that are happening beneath it and what's affecting it. So you can speak to why we're seeing this. Hey, is this a good time, or should we wait to sell? What's going to happen? Well, we don't know yet. This is a few indicators that we're seeing, and you can share that with them and just studying it. What are you doing when you're not on a listing appointment or a negotiating contract? I mean, there's 8 to 10 hours in the day. I won't tell you how many hours I work. It's a sickness I have. Yet, what else are you doing? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you reading books? Are you looking at the market? Are you going and driving around what the competition is in an area that you want to be the expert in? You can target whatever you want and you can become that. So don't limit yourself on any of that, but study it. What else are you doing?
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of activities you can do, like go to broker opens, open houses on higher end, network with those agents. A lot of times they have pocket listings that aren't on the market. So if you really want to seem like you're in the know, also the amenities, like I touched on schools, the country clubs, like figure out what their pricing is, what their memberships are. There's a lot of things that you can be doing to grow and expand your knowledge. Also the condo market, like that's totally different. So make sure, like if you have a condo buyer, you go tour those other condos. History is really big too. Buyers like history on houses, especially the older houses, Ward Parkway. There's some awesome, amazing books that you can read on the history of those neighborhoods. Like those are all things you could be doing. Yeah, who built, what gangster owned what house. Like there's been gold found in houses and safes. Like there's all kinds of really cool stuff that you can know that I've just learned by reading books. So when I show that area, I can tell them some stories and have good conversation with them. So yeah.
Well, there's so much information out there for those buyers, and they are, they're usually high achievers. So they're reading, they're learning about stuff. If they know more about the market, they're not going to work with you. Like if they come to an open house and I'm talking to them and I'm like, well, what about this house over here? Did you guys look at that house? And knowing what it looked like inside yourself, being able to talk to, oh, now that one sold for this because I'm thinking it had to do with this, this, and this. This is what my clients felt, that there was a smell or there needed to be something done. So knowing about that, and they start connecting with you over that knowledge, and then knowing about the pocket listings. Like I probably have 4 or 5 listings that aren't on the market because they don't know where they're moving to, that they may sell and they may list with me. They may not, you just aren't for sure. And it's just something we've had a conversation about. Maybe they've been to an open house and they're like, oh, we might actually sell, but we're not sure. So being able to use that information to capture that client and make them your client.
And one other thing, I read a statistic that 81% of buyers in a luxury market want smart homes. So what do you know about your smart homes? Like those are things that we could all learn more about. There's so much out there and it constantly changes. So stay on top of what those high-end trends are. And you can just Google it. What are high-end trends for buyers? It's not hard. Yeah. That's what I did before this class, just to make sure that nothing's changed because it moves. So yeah. Lots of just learning.
Well, thank you guys so much. Did you guys learn some stuff, some nuggets? Fantastic. Thanks, Kelly and Mike. We appreciate you guys. Then we're going to turn it over to Kyle. Kyle, if you want to take our last couple minutes and share with us a little bit on your new email stuff. Yes. Thank you. I should have. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another takeaway. Ladies and gentlemen.
So one of the luxury things, if you didn't hear online, was don't say you guys, it's say ladies and gentlemen. And so just raise your level of talking, of vocabulary. So, and the words you use, because they make a difference, right? So one of the new things that just came out a couple weeks ago and make sure I've got it online here for you guys, in Command, is a lot of tracking with the email. So I'm here in the campaigns, and I sent an email a few weeks ago. And so I'm going to go to my email, and the new feature is once the email's sent, I can click on the name of the email, make sure my mouse is in the right spot. Oh, I didn't click mail, did I? Trying to do stuff from far away and it doesn't always work right. Which one's email up there? That one. Thanks, guys. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. So when I click on the name of the email and it opens up, there's a lot more detail. Before, we would just know that we sent the email. And now, once it loads, we're going to be able to see exactly who got the email, who opened it, who didn't get the email, maybe it's about email address, who clicked on the links here. So across the left side here, we've got our sent. So that's who actually got the email. And then the next one down is delivered. So that's who it got delivered to. Then we can see a lot of other things here. So we can see who opened it. And one of the cool things we can do is we can select this and we can do some actions. So we could add a tag to this that they actually opened our Pi event email or whatever it is. But I think the tags are a little bit more effective down farther. And so as we go through here, we'll see some different ones. And these are my Mickey Mouse characters. This is what I use to demo everything. So they all have an @KyleNeiman email address that doesn't exist. So all 7 of these people didn't get the email because it's a bad email address. So now we could easily select these, come down here to add a tag, and we could even resend the email. So if we go to the didn't open, we could resend the email to try and get them to open it a second time. But we can add a tag here really quickly that says update email. And I just click the create tag there. I can pick a color for it, click add. And now I can filter my contacts by who needs an email update. Or if I'm calling these people, so, oh, hey, I think I've got a wrong email address for you. Can I get an updated email address? And just reconfirm that email address by using my contacts and sorting. The emails are really easy to create as well, but that's a whole nother class. But I wanted to show you guys this cool feature that we can now really see who's opening the emails in Command Mail. And Command Mail is like Constant Contact, but you get 5,000 free included with Command a month. The next 5,000 are only $9.99 a month. So you can send 10,000 emails for $10 a month if you wanted to. So we'll talk more about this, but wanted to show you guys this cool feature of being able to do a lot of stuff. I'm even going directly to the contact over here where I can make a phone call right away if I wanted to. This is live. This is my demo. And they said it wasn't going to go back to previous emails that you sent through Command Mail, but mine did. This was one I sent before this feature even went live. So I was like, that's really cool. We can even go back to older emails and see this cool feature. So the emails are pretty easy to create. I can help you with that. Just reach out to me or use my Calendly, schedule 15 minutes, and I can get you set up with how to create the emails. So, but we're at 10 o'clock, so we don't want to take too much more of your time. And thank you guys for letting me share this awesome new feature.
And just a reminder, ALC groups after this, so make sure that you find your committee chairperson and have a great week, guys. Breakfast over there. Yeah.